must rest.
You must forgive the harsh words I spoke to you before. It is hard for a healer to be so helpless. You have done a great thing in saving the lad's life. That is one, at least, that the darkness will not claim. Thank you.
It took both of us to save his life. Thank you, and farewell.
Are you in need of healing drafts? Maradon has a supply.
Does your gear need repair?
Farewell, Hador.
Are you in need of supplies?
Keep well, Maradon.
Lewin has told me of your heroics in the Burrows. I am grateful to you for saving one of my rangers. It is only a pity that it was too late for poor Kalaran.
Another crime the enemy must answer for.
Kalaran dedicated his life to defending others, just as you have. You can best honor his memory by continuing to protect the North from the threat of Agandaura.
You can rest assured that is my sole intention. Goodbye, Captain.
I am glad to hear Aragorn and his charges made it safely to Rivendell. In that, you and your friends played no small part. You have made me very proud, Eridan. Now you should continue to do as Aragorn requests. Just be certain you keep your wits about you when you travel to the Ettenmoors. Those wild lands are no place for the unwary. I am glad to hear Aragorn and his charges made it safely to Rivendell. In that, you and your friends played no small part. You have made me very proud, Eridan. Now you should continue to do as Aragorn requests. Just be certain you keep your wits about you when you travel to the Ettenmoors. Those wild lands are no place for the unwary.
Well, well, a brother ranger returned from the wild. It's good to see you again, Eridan. Even stuck here as we are, we've heard reports of your deeds. You three are earning quite a name for yourselves. I'd find some of those stories hard to believe, save I've seen your prowess firsthand. I'll never forget what you did for me in the Barrow Downs. If I were free to choose my own road, I'd be begging leave to join you on your quest.
I'd be glad to have another ranger along. What's to prevent you from accompanying us?
I'm sure you know the answer to that as well as I. Duty. We rangers never shirk from our duty. And for now, that puts me here, watching out for the little folk.
Do you ever begrudge that duty?
What? Watching out for folk who fear me? Or at best think of me as a rascal and a vagabond? Strangely, I do not. Knowing I help make it possible for folk to live their lives without fear, well, that helps me sleep easy at night. At least on the nights that I am allowed to sleep.
Then I will leave you to your duty. Farewell, Lewin.
I have a strong feeling that change is coming our way. Events are moving, north and south. We will be drawn into them.
Greetings, my friend. What can I help you with?
Thank you, Master Elrond. I had best be on my way.
What would you ask of me now, Eredan?
I should be going. Farewell, Gandalf.
Eredan, I am glad of this chance to speak with you. I wish to tell you how proud I am of all you have accomplished. Halbarad has taught you well, and your acts of courage honor the memory of our brothers who fell at Sarn Ford. Knowing I have the loyalty of such men strengthens my resolve.
I gather you had never heard of Agandaura before these recent events.
I had never heard nor dealt with Agandaura specifically, but I know his kind. Years ago, I served in disguise in the armies of Gondor, where I contended with the corsairs of Umbar, who were often led by those akin to Agandaura. These black Númenóreans are a corrupt and wicked race. They worship Sauron as a god and seek the utter destruction of all who oppose him.
I would like to know more about those chosen to be part of your fellowship.
Who is it that interests you?
What about this man of Gondor, the one called Boromir? If he hails from Gondor, then he is one of our long-sundered kin. But what else do you know of him?
Boromir is the son of Denethor, the steward of Gondor. I had never met him before Elrond's council, but long years ago, under another name, I served his grandfather Ecthelion. The men of Gondor are valiant and strong, and by all accounts Boromir is foremost among them in courage and skill at arms. I suspect we will have need of his sword before our quest is through.
What about Gandalf? What can you tell me of him?
To know all there is to know of Gandalf would require a lifetime study. There is much about him that remains a mystery, even to me. Yet he is a relentless foe of Sauron, and without his vigilance, the ring would already be in the hands of the enemy. His wisdom and leadership will be of great value to the Fellowship.
Tell me about the Wood Elf, Legolas.
It is fitting that we have a representative of the Eldar, the Elves, along with us on this venture. They have been foes of Sauron since before the ancestors of the Dúnedain first returned to the shores of Middle-earth. Legolas is keen of eye and ear, and he is unmatched as a bowman. His arrows seldom miss their mark.
What can you tell me of the dwarf Gimli?
I have spent little time among dwarves, but Gimli is one of Durin's folk, and the dwarves of that line are trusted by Elrond, in spite of the differences that sometimes divide elves and dwarves. If Gimli is like most of his kin, he will prove loyal and stout-hearted, enduring in hardship and fierce in battle.
What about these other hobbits? Is it wise to send so many of the little folk on this quest?
We are asking much of Frodo. Until recently, he had never set foot outside the confines of the Shire. It will be a comfort for him to have the familiar companionship of his friends and kin, in the face of so much that will be new and frightening. I have traveled with these hobbits, and they proved far more courageous and hardy than many would suspect.
I feel I should accompany you on your quest. Let me go south with you.
The Ring-Bearer's companions have already been chosen, and I will not gainsay the wisdom of Elrond and Gandalf in this matter. I know it is hard for you to remain behind, but until now you have always dedicated yourself to protecting the people of the North. I would ask you to continue to do so, for the servants of the enemy are found in many places, not in Mordor alone.
There are times I wonder why we do it. We have little enough thanks from those we protect.
Need I answer that? You do it because you know it is right. The North would have known little peace but for us. What roads would any dare travel? What safety would there be in these lands if we had abandoned our self-appointed duty? And two, you do it because of your faith in my line, and in me. You and the others believe that I am the rightful king of the lost realm of Arnor, and it is the duty of a king to protect his subjects. I know it is in your heart, Eredan. You are one of the king's men, even if the king has no throne. Never believe that I am not grateful for such devotion. I will do all I can to justify your faith.
You go now to claim your rightful place as the King of Gondor.
Above all, I go to help Frodo fulfill his quest. For unless the ring is destroyed, Gondor will soon fall, king or no king.
Good luck to you.
Eredan, I am glad of this chance to speak with you. I wish to tell you how proud I am of all you have accomplished. Halbarad has taught you well, and your acts of courage honor the memory of our brothers who fell at Sarn Ford. Knowing I have the loyalty of such men strengthens my resolve.
You have traveled a great deal. Is there anything you can tell me of the Etenmoors?
Only that it is a dangerous and unforgiving place. My own grandfather Alador was slain by trolls in the Etenmoors. It is important we learn if the enemy is active in the moors, but we do not send you there lightly. Be on your guard at all times while you venture there.
Until next we meet.
Greetings, my friend. What can I help you with?
Thank you, Master Elrond. I had best be on my way.
Welcome, Eredan. I suspected you would find your way here before long.
You know my name, yet I do not believe we have met.
News travels swiftly in this household. I suspect everyone in Imladris has heard of your exploits by now. But such adventures are often hard on one's weapons and armor. Perhaps you have need of my services?
What task are you working at now?
My fellow smiths and I are preparing for a great work. Soon we will be called upon to reforge the legendary sword Narsil. In the meantime, I've been sharpening my skills by practicing the art of imbuing gemstones.
What can you tell me of this sword, Narsil?
Narsil was the sword of Elendil, a mighty lord of the Dúnedain who defied the Dark Lord in the War of the Lost Alliance. He bore the sword in battle against Sauron, but he was slain and the sword was broken. Since that time, the shards of the sword have been an heirloom of the House of Elendil. It was to remain broken until the day when an heir of Elendil would go to war to reclaim the crown and title of king. That day will come soon, and the sword must be made whole once again.
What do you mean by imbuing?
Simply that certain objects have inherent virtues, and a skilled artisan can, through his craft, increase those virtues and bind them to an object for advantage. Gemstones are very strong vessels for this process. Sadly, appropriate gemstones have become difficult to find. The growing trouble throughout the land keeps travelers away, and our own people are staying closer to home.
Perhaps I can help you with that. I will be traveling soon.
I would be pleased to have your help. I will provide you with a list of the types of gemstones that are of the greatest value to me. If you collect the stones, I am certain I could create something that you would find useful. But to be of use, the gemstones must be of the highest quality. Fortunately, we have as a guest a dwarf of the Lonely Mountain. Glóin is his name, and he is skilled in the appraisal of gems of all sorts. Once you have gathered the stones, allow him to examine them. He'll know if they are suitable.
I have gathered a few artifacts of interest on my travels. I believe you might be able to help me with them.
Ah, these are work of Westernese, the lost land of Numenor. The men who forged these items were skilled indeed. You have the makings of a unique weapon here. Although these components were never part of a single work, I believe you have assembled everything I would need to make it so. The finished weapon would undoubtedly carry some elven qualities.
What do you mean by that?
Only that with a work such as this, the finished product is liable to reflect the nature of the smith who assembles it. If, for example, a dwarven smith were to complete this weapon, it might possess quite different qualities from the weapon I would create.
I would like to see what a dwarven smith might do with this task. Perhaps I shall wait.
As you wish. I will help you should you change your mind. How can I assist you?
I have gathered a few artifacts of interest on my travels. I believe you might be able to help me with them.
Ah, these are work of Westernese, the lost land of Numenor. The men who forged these items were skilled indeed. You have the makings of a unique weapon here. Although these components were never part of a single work, I believe you have assembled everything I would need to make it so. The finished weapon would undoubtedly carry some elven qualities.
What do you mean by that?
Only that with a work such as this, the finished product is liable to reflect the nature of the smith who assembles it. If, for example, a dwarven smith were to complete this weapon, it might possess quite different qualities from the weapon I would create.
I would like to see what a dwarven smith might do with this task. Perhaps I shall wait.
As you wish. I will help you should you change your mind.
I should be going. Pardon my curiosity, but you don't appear to be one of Elrond's people.
No. I am one of the woodland folk of Mirkwood. My name is Legolas Greenleaf, the son of Thranduil, king of the Woodland Realm. But I too am curious. You don't appear to be one of the men of Dale, nor one of the Beornings.
I am Eredan, one of the Rangers of the North, the Dúnedain.
Ah, one of those who follow Aragorn, son of Arathorn.
Tell me about Mirkwood.
Mirkwood is the greatest woodland in all of Middle-earth. It was called Greenwood the Great, before the shadow of Sauron fell over it. In ages past, it was a place of great beauty. But now, it is filled with darkness and dread, save only in the north where my father's realm is maintained.
What brought you on such a long and perilous journey?
Unpleasant business. My father sent me to report the escape of Gollum, a creature Aragorn had entrusted to our care.
What can you tell me about this Gollum?
A pathetic creature who long held the Ring of Power. The evil of the ring has left him twisted and tormented. His only thought is to recover what was taken from him.
How did Gollum manage to escape your guard?
Not from a lack of watchfulness, but perhaps from too much kindness. We occasionally allowed Gollum to go about the wood under close guard. But on one of these ventures, the guards were attacked by orcs from Dol Guldur. In the confusion, Gollum escaped. We followed his tracks southward for many leagues, until it drew near to Dol Guldur. There, it became too dangerous to pursue him any further.
What is this place, Dol Guldur?
A stronghold of the enemy in the south of Mirkwood. It was once the dwelling of the Dark Lord, until he was driven out in the year of the Dragon's Fall. But it has once again become a place of great evil. All the darkness that besets Mirkwood has its source in Dol Guldur.
Will you be departing for your home soon?
No. I have been chosen to represent Elvenkind among the Company of the Ring. I will be accompanying the halfling, Frodo Bэгgins, on his journey south.
It seems strange that with so many elves in his own household to consider, Elrond chose to make you a member of the Fellowship.
I asked for the privilege, and Elrond did not refuse me. I feel he may have been relieved not to lose any of his household to this quest. He will have need of all his strength, should the enemy move against Imladris.
I am curious why you would volunteer for this.
Partially to make amends for the loss of Gollum, but more so because this will be the final chapter in our long struggle against the darkness. And I wish to have a hand in our final victory. Or at least, to stand in the forefront of our last act of defiance.
May fortune favor your fellowship in the days ahead, Legolas.
Well met again, Eredan.
What brought you on such a long and perilous journey?
Unpleasant business. My father sent me to report the escape of Gollum, a creature Aragorn had entrusted to our care.
Tell me about Mirkwood.
Mirkwood is the greatest woodland in all of Middle-earth. It was called Greenwood the Great, before the shadow of Sauron fell over it. In ages past, it was a place of great beauty. But now, it is filled with darkness and dread, save only in the north where my father's realm is maintained.
Goodbye.
Hello, you are one of the Dunэdайн, are you not? Please allow me to introduce myself. Bilbo Baggins at your service.
Eridan, at yours.
Always happy to meet one of the Guardians of the North. I've heard about what you and your friends did to help my Frodo and the Dúnedain reach Rivendell safely. You'll have to tell me all about it one of these days so I can write it all down properly.
The Dúnedain. In the Elvish, that signifies man of the West. One of my people.
Yes, indeed, but when I say it, I mean Aragorn, of course. The Dúnedain, he is often called here. A remarkable man, Aragorn, and a good friend. I almost wish that I could accompany him on his grand quest, but I'm far too old for adventures now. I only hope I will be spared long enough to write it all down.
What is it you write?
Oh, a little of this and a little of that. History, my past adventures, family trees. I've even begun a book of translations from the Elvish. Although lately I've been working on poetry mostly. Say, maybe you could help me with that. I'm writing a poem for Aragorn and I'm a bit stuck on a line or two.
Is that so? Well then, let me hear what you have.
Very well, very well. The verse that's giving me trouble runs like this. The light from the west is rekindled. Forth from Imladris it springs. Renewed is the hope that has dwindled.
The light from the west is rekindled. Forth from Imladris it springs. Renewed is the hope that has dwindled. The scion of Westernese kings.
Why, yes, yes, that's just the thing, isn't it? Oh, my friend, you should consider exchanging those weapons of yours for the poet's pen.
One day, perhaps. But for now, we have more need of warriors than poets.
Oh, I'm afraid you're right, but since these old hands are not much use with the sword, I'll just keep on with the pen. Though I'll need some help. Perhaps you could show this to the Lady Arwen. She has her people's gift with words, and this touches her deeply after all.
Arwen? Who is she?
Why, she's Elrond's daughter, of course, and Aragorn's beloved as well. Although you didn't hear that from me, she's a sweet lady, and I'm sure she'd be willing to give me a hand with this.
I will take it to her.
Ah, thanks very much. Be sure to give her my compliments, won't you?
I will indeed. Farewell now.
Greetings! I hope the Lady Arwen will have some good suggestions for my verse. I'm really most eager to finish the thing. Yes.
Do all hobbits share your love of poetry?
Yes, I suppose so, although usually our songs and poems concern good food, good drink, and good humor. All those things we love the most. It's quite a bit different from what you find here in Rivendell.
Yet you said you were writing a poem about Aragorn.
Well, one can't live long among the elves without some of their habits rubbing off, I suppose. Although I doubt I will ever match the elven appetite for music, poetry, and tales. They seem to like them as much as food, maybe even more.
You have a poem to write, and I have a task before me as well. Goodbye for now, Mr. Baggins.
Greetings! I hope the Lady Arwen will have some good suggestions for my verse. I'm really most eager to finish the thing. Yes.
Can you tell me how Frodo came to be in possession of the Ring of Power?
Well, yes, that was through me, I'm afraid. I found the ring by happenstance while lost beneath the roots of the Misty Mountains. I won it. That is to say, I took it from the creature Gollum. Of course, I did not know the full story of the ring until only a few days ago. I thought it was merely a magical bauble with the power to make the wearer invisible. I only used it to avoid unwelcome visitors. Imagine that old ring of mine causing such a fuss. I would gladly take charge of it again if that would help. Oh, yes. Gladly. Yes. You know, I think it would be best if we discussed something else.
Do you know Aragorn well?
Oh, yes. I first met Aragorn, let's see, well, it must be more than 15 years ago now. His adventures keep him away from Rivendell far too much for my liking, but he's my chief source of news whenever he does return. A remarkable man, Aragorn, and a good friend. I almost wish that I could accompany him on his grand quest, but I'm far too old for adventures now. I only hope I will be spared long enough to write it all down.
Tell me about Frodo. Is he your son?
Oh, no, he's not my son. Actually, he's my first cousin once removed. And also my second cousin once removed. Well, it's complicated, but we share a great-grandfather. The poor lad was orphaned at an early age, and so I adopted him. Made him my heir, all nice and legal, while simultaneously dashing the greedy hopes of my odious relations, the Sackville Baggins. He's a good lad, Frodo. I only wish he hadn't inherited my troubles along with my estate. I hope that Gandalf and the Dúnedain will keep him safe in the days ahead.
The Dúnedain? In the Elvish, that signifies man of the West, one of my people.
Yes, indeed, but when I say it, I mean Aragorn, of course. The Dúnedain, he is often called here. A remarkable man, Aragorn, and a good friend. I almost wish that I could accompany him on his grand quest, but I'm far too old for adventures now. I only hope I will be spared long enough to write it all down.
You have a poem to write, and I have a task before me as well. Goodbye for now, Mr. Baggins.
Greetings! I hope the Lady Arwen will have some good suggestions for my verse. I'm really most eager to finish the thing.
Do you know Aragorn well?
Oh, yes. I first met Aragorn, let's see, well, it must be more than 15 years ago now. His adventures keep him away from Rivendell far too much for my liking, but he's my chief source of news whenever he does return. A remarkable man, Aragorn, and a good friend. I almost wish that I could accompany him on his grand quest, but I'm far too old for adventures now. I only hope I will be spared long enough to write it all down.
I must be on my way.
Welcome, Dunэdайн. Welcome to Imladris. Are you in need of anything to help you in your travels? I have many things in my keeping that might serve you well.
I should be on my way.
Those who venture into the wild must be well prepared. Examine the goods Imladris has to offer.
I should be on my way.
Those who venture into the wild must be well prepared. Examine the goods Imladris has to offer.
Thank you for your welcoming words, but I do not believe I've had the pleasure.
No, indeed. I am Alare, one of Master Elrond's stewards. I help to manage the needs of his household, including arms and armor. I suspect you might have need of such things.
What sort of folk dwell here in Rivendell?
Elves, for the most part. My people have dwelt in Imladris for a very long time indeed. But there are other folk to be found here as well. Elrond welcomes all people of goodwill. The Dunэdайн come often, your own folk come occasionally. We are even home to one special hobbit.
Who is this hobbit you speak of?
Bilbo the Magnificent, greatest of the Shire folk. The same hobbit who overthrew the dragon Smaug, although these days he is more interested in poetry than adventure. And food and drink, of course. Keeping a hobbit well fed is enough to keep several stewards busy.
Your home seems so serene. I assume it is kept so by strength of arms?
This is a place of learning and peace, not a fortress or camp of war. But there are those here who wield great power, especially the Lord Elrond. Yet even he does not have the strength to overthrow the Dark Lord, or to resist him if he comes against us with great strength.
I will do my best to see that day never comes.
Nobly spoken. I am told you have done great deeds on behalf of all free folk, and I am certain you will accomplish greater things still. But if you plan to contend with the enemy, you must be well prepared. Perhaps you should examine the stores we have on hand.
What can you tell me about Elrond?
To tell you everything I know of Master Elrond would take many days. Let it suffice to say that he is an elven lord of great and noble lineage, ancient beyond mortal reckoning, and wise beyond measure. None are more skilled as a healer, or more versed in the lore of ages past.
Those who venture into the wild must be well prepared. Examine the goods Imladris has to offer.
Imladris? Where is that?
Your pardon, this is Imladris, the house of Elrond Half-Elven. We who dwell here call it by that name, but it is more commonly known as Rivendell. Those who venture into the wild must be well prepared. Examine the goods Imladris has to offer.
I should be on my way.
Well, my friend, it's an honor to make the acquaintance of one of Farin's valiant companions. I'm Glóin, son of Groin, from the Lonely Mountain.
And one of Bilbo's companions in the quest to slay the dragon Smaug. It's an honor to meet such a famous dwarf. I'm Eredon of the Dúnedain.
I heard about that business at Sarn Ford, and they say the three of you brought down an orc chieftain at Fornost. I expect I'll be hearing of even greater deeds before long. It does my heart good to see a dwarf, an elf, and a man working together again. Reminds me of the old days, it does, when the three kindred fought alongside one another in the Battle of the Five Armies.
We must not forget the Great Eagles. They have been a great help to us, just as they were to you and your companions.
Well spoken. Thorin's quest and the Battle of Five Armies would have met disaster without the help of the Eagles. You're fortunate to have gained the friendship of such noble creatures. Your life may well depend upon your choice of friends, whatever kindred they be.
Then you approve of Farin's alliance with Andriel and me?
I will speak plainly. I may be less than fond of King Thranduil's wood elves for keeping me in their dungeons, but I've no grudge with any of Elrond's folk.
Yet in the Battle of the Five Armies, it was Thranduil's elves who died alongside men and dwarves in battle.
You're right, of course. I can be a stiff-necked old dwarf, but it's time to set aside grievances that were long ago repaid. When dwarves, men, and elves fought together at Erebor, we overcame legions of foes. But we face a far more terrible enemy in the Dark Lord. Standing together against Agandauer may be more than just a good idea. It may be our only hope to save the North.
Sauron's attention will be focused largely on the south. Perhaps if we thwart his plans here, it will distract him. That could benefit Frodo and the Fellowship on their quest.
That's my thoughts upon the matter, too. Be the stinging fly in the ointment, as it were. Only this fly's sting will be deadly. And it's time to be about your business. Goodbye, and good luck to you. Oh, hello again. Don't mind me. Speaking with you got me dreaming of the old days. Dwarves, elves, and men fighting against orcs and goblins. Those were glorious times.
What could have been important enough to bring you all the way from your distant home?
I came at the bidding of my lord, King Dane. My son Gimli and a few companions came with me. For all paths grow dangerous under the spread of the shadow. With the enemy seeking news of Bilbo, Dane thought we should come to Elrond for counsel. I never imagined what I'd learn when we got here, but it may be wise to say no more.
Aragorn has told us that Frodo bears the One Ring.
Alas, that we should live in such times. Well, Frodo knows what he must do. If I were younger, I'd go with him. But we must each serve where we are most needed, even as you must, with such friends as you trust.
And where do you think I am needed the most?
That's plain as the beard on my face. It's right here, of course. You've uncovered a deadly enemy in this Agandauра. As long as he's free to carry out Sauron's will, he'll gather more orcs, goblins, and trolls to his banner. Rivendell, the Shire, the Brelons, no place will be safe from his wrath. He must be stopped.
Sauron's attention will be focused largely on the south. Perhaps if we thwart his plans here, it will distract him. That could benefit Frodo and the Fellowship on their quest.
That's my thoughts upon the matter, too. Be the stinging fly in the ointment, as it were. Only this fly's sting will be deadly. And it's time to be about your business. Goodbye, and good luck to you. Oh, hello again. Don't mind me. Speaking with you got me dreaming of the old days. Dwarves, elves, and men fighting against orcs and goblins. Those were glorious times.
I have business I must attend to. Goodbye for now.
Hello. You are Aradan, aren't you? I was hoping I would get a chance to speak with you.
And you are Frodo Baggins. Aragorn and Gandalf have told me about you. And your burden.
Likewise, they have told me all about you. I wanted to thank you and your friends for all you did to keep us safe on our journey to Rivendell.
You are most welcome, Frodo. It is only now that we have learned just how important our task was. I am pleased we were able to help.
It seems as if I owe everyone thanks. You, Aragorn, Elrond. Without the help of each of you, I wouldn't be here now.
It is we who should thank you. To have come this far through so many perils shows a great deal of courage.
Thank you for saying so, but I don't feel brave, just very fortunate.
Courage comes in many forms, Frodo. Of your own free will, you have chosen to bear the ring into Mordor. You may well be the most courageous person I have ever known.
I'll try to bear that in mind. I only hope I can measure up to everyone's expectations.
Take heart. You will have Aragorn and Gandalf with you. No one could ask for better companions on a dangerous journey.
Yes, I can't think of a better pair to have with me in a pinch than Gandalf and Strider. Without them, I would feel as if I was wandering alone in the dark.
I feel there is more to you than meets the eye, my friend. I trust that you will not fail us. Go with the goodwill of all who remain behind.
again. This stay in Rivendell has done wonders for me. I almost feel like my old self.
Will you tell me about your journey here? Clearly, it was not an easy one.
We had trouble almost from the start. The Black Riders were always just behind us, and we nearly met disaster in the Burrow Downs, at Bree, and again at Weathertop.
I am familiar with the ruin known as Weathertop. What happened there?
We were attacked by 5 of the Black Riders. I was foolish, and I put on the ring. One of them wounded me before Aragorn managed to drive them away. The knife that was used against me left a shard in the wound. From what Gandalf has told me, the fragment was working its way inward. If it had reached my heart, I would have become a wraith under the power of the Black Riders. Fortunately, we were able to reach Rivendell in time for Elrond's healing arts to save me.
It is a little thing, this ring, but filled with mischief. Will you show it to me?
No, I mean, I'm sorry, but Gandalf and Elrond have warned me against revealing the ring to anyone, even proven friends. I hope you understand.
Yes, I believe I do begin to understand. It was wrong of me to ask. Forgive me.
There is nothing to forgive. But the ring, it has a strange effect on everyone around it. It is better for it to remain hidden.
You entered the Burrow Downs? If you escaped from there, you are made of sterner stuff than I'd imagined. That is no place to go wandering.
You seem to know a great deal about the Burrow Downs already. I'd prefer not to speak about what we found there. It is too horrible to dwell on, even here in the safety of Rivendell.
What befell you in Bree? We must have just missed crossing paths there.
There were spies in Bree, and our room was attacked in the night. If Strider hadn't convinced us to sleep elsewhere, our journey would have ended then and there.
I feel there is more to you than meets the eye, my friend. I trust that you will not fail us. Go with the goodwill of all who remain behind.
Hello again. This stay in Rivendell has done wonders for me. I almost feel like my old self.
Will you tell me about your journey here? Clearly, it was not an easy one.
We had trouble almost from the start. The Black Riders were always just behind us, and we nearly met disaster in the Burrow Downs, at Bree, and again at Weathertop.
Anyone who travels far in the wild is certain to find peril. These are dangerous times.
I've learned that only too well. I had hoped the danger would end once I reached Rivendell, but it seems as if it is just beginning. I hope I can find the courage to face the road ahead.
Take heart. You will have Aragorn and Gandalf with you. No one could ask for better companions on a dangerous journey.
Yes, I can't think of a better pair to have with me in a pinch than Gandalf and Strider. Without them, I would feel as if I was wandering alone in the dark.
I feel there is more to you than meets the eye, my friend. I trust that you will not fail us. Go with the goodwill of all who remain behind.
Hello again. This stay in Rivendell has done wonders for me. I almost feel like my old self.
Will you tell me about your journey here? Clearly, it was not an easy one.
We had trouble almost from the start. The Black Riders were always just behind us, and we nearly met disaster in the Burrow Downs, at Bree, and again at Weathertop.
Anyone who travels far in the wild is certain to find peril. These are dangerous times.
I've learned that only too well. I had hoped the danger would end once I reached Rivendell, but it seems as if it is just beginning. I hope I can find the courage to face the road ahead.
I have a strong feeling you will. In the meantime, you should rest and recover your strength.
Hello again. This stay in Rivendell has done wonders for me. I almost feel like my old self.
I will leave you to rest. Goodbye.
Those who venture into the wild must be well prepared. Examine the goods Imladris has to offer.
Thank you for your welcoming words, but I do not believe I've had the pleasure.
No, indeed. I am Alare, one of Master Elrond's stewards. I help to manage the needs of his household, including arms and armor. I suspect you might have need of such things.
I should be on my way. I thought it rare to find one dwarf so far from home. Yet here is another. If I may say, there's something about you that reminds me of my companion Farin.
Gimli, son of Glóin, at your service. Your eyes serve you well, Ranger. Farin is indeed a kinsman of mine, and a most valiant dwarf. And if I may say, your own fame has gone before you. You fought well at Fornost, and I hear much praise of your exploits. Most impressive, though of course you had Farin's help.
I must concede the usefulness of a dwarf in battle. He wields his weapon to good effect, as long as he stays clear of my knees.
Useful? I dare say you'll find him more than useful. Why, he's a hero of the Battle of the Five Armies. Men, elves, and dwarves against orcs and goblins. And many an orc has felt the caress of his axe.
Farin said no word of other kin coming to join him. What brings you here to Imladris?
Aye, it's a long march from the halls of Erebor, but grim news goes on swift feet. It was for Bilbo's sake we came, with a warning that the servants of Sauron wished to find him and his ring. Thrice a Black Rider came to the front gate of Erebor, demanding news of Bilbo, and threatens to return once more. Ere that should happen, King Dain sent my father, Glóin, to seek the advice of Elrond. You've heard the results of the council? I see you have. I have sworn to protect Frodo upon his quest, an oath I will fulfill though all the orcs of Middle-earth stand in my way.
You're bold to defy a Nazgul if it was indeed one of the 9 who came to your door.
Not one of the Nazgul, I think, but it was a fell servant all the same, who spoke in a voice like the hissing of snakes. What sort of man can serve the enemy willingly, even gladly, is beyond my understanding. More cruel than any orc he struck me, full of venom and lies.
Your words fit Agandauer well. His cruelty knows no bounds.
Could it be so? Perhaps. It is enough that we will not be deceived by promises from Mordor ever again. The only way the Dark Lord gets his ring back this time is when it's tossed into the fires of Mount Doom.
Elrond has asked us to scout the Edenmoors. But what is it that worries you about the north?
I like not what I've heard of this Agandauer you drove from Fornost. He could yet cause grief untold. There are rumors of gatherings of orcs, goblins, and other deadly foes growing in strength. When the Dark Lord strikes, there will be more than one land that feels his wrath. I fear for the Shire and Rivendell. It would ease my heart to know that you'll look to the defense of the north for as long as you're needed. With help from Faran, of course.
For my part, you have my word on it. And I have no doubt your trustworthy kinsman and Andriel will stand by my side.
Well met again. I wish the scouts would hurry about their business. If we wait much longer, we'll have the snows of winter to hamper us.
Erebor, the Lonely Mountain. I've heard tales of it. Were you there at the downfall of Smaug?
Sadly, no. I was far to the west in the Blue Mountains where I was born, for my father deemed me too young to join him on Thorin's quest. But once the dragon was destroyed, I hurried with many of my kin to settle there. I've labored some 70 years to restore what was lost and helped build anew the city of Dale from the ruins of the Dragonfire. I've seen the bones of Smaug upon the lake bottom where he fell. Did you know that Bilbo exchanged riddles with the dragon? Now that's a tale he should tell you. We owe much to that fine old hobbit.
When do you leave for the south?
Not soon enough for my liking. Elrond is sending scouts many leagues in all directions, and we will wait for their news. They search for signs of any Nazgul that may have survived the flooding of the river. And there are other threats besides, as you well know. My heart forebodes that the north is not safe.
Do you know Frodo well?
I know only that he is Bilbo's adopted heir, and that he has chosen of his own free will to bear and destroy the ring. That's all I need to know. I'll protect him to my final breath if need be.
I must be off to the Edenmoors. Farewell and good fortune.
Farewell, and may you kill many orcs. Keep a count, and we'll compare numbers when I return. Well met again. I wish the scouts would hurry about their business. If we wait much longer, we'll have the snows of winter to hamper us.
Elrond has asked us to scout the Edenmoors. But what is it that worries you about the north?
I like not what I've heard of this Agandauer you drove from Fornost. He could yet cause grief untold. There are rumors of gatherings of orcs, goblins, and other deadly foes growing in strength. When the Dark Lord strikes, there will be more than one land that feels his wrath. I fear for the Shire and Rivendell. It would ease my heart to know that you'll look to the defense of the north for as long as you're needed. With help from Faran, of course.
For my part, you have my word on it. And I have no doubt your trustworthy kinsman and Andriel will stand by my side.
The sun shines and all is fair and peaceful here in Madras. A far cry from the blood and dust of Fornost, is it not? You and your companions did very well there. Indeed, things might have gone badly for us had you not been there. You have earned some time to recover from the toils of battle and hard travel. And I believe you will find no place better for the restoration of body and spirit than this, our home.
How was it you happened to be at Fornost?
We often ride far afield hunting the orcs, wherever we may find them. We came upon signs of a large band of goblins making their way from the orc hold of Mount Gram and followed their trail to Fornost, where we lost no time in attacking them.
Aragorn frequently travels and fights beside you, does he not?
Yes, we often venture forth in company with the Dунэдайн, and none more frequently than Aragorn. He was raised here in our household, after all.
How is it that a man came to be raised here among elves?
It is a tradition for the heirs of Isildur to be fostered in the House of Elrond. We have sheltered all the chieftains of the Dунэдайн from the time the Northern Kingdom ceased to be down to this present day. Aragorn is the 16th in line from father to son to spend his early years in Imladris. This is one reason why the bond between our two peoples is so strong.
Will you tell me more about your family? I know Elrond is your father.
Yes, it was he who established the refuge of Imladris. My brother and I have dwelt here all our lives. Our sister Arwen dwells here as well, although she has spent many years in the company of our grandmother.
What of your mother? Does she dwell here also?
Our mother has crossed the sea and left Middle-earth. It is a bitter tale to tell. Many years past, on a journey across the misty mountains, our mother was captured by orcs. We searched the mountains without rest until we found her at last. Our father was able to heal her injuries, but the memory of her torment was too terrible for her to bear. At last she chose to depart for the Undying Lands. Perhaps now you understand why our hatred for the orcs is so great.
That is a sad tale. I am sorry to have reminded you.
No, my friend. We have drawn swords together in the same cause. You have earned our trust. We do not wish to keep anything hidden from you. This is the evil that we have pledged our lives to destroy, just as you have.
I may be in need of a few things before we set out. Is there anyone I can speak to about that?
If it is provisions or other supplies you need, you should speak with Alari. And if your arms and armor need tending, seek out Angmar. Both of them may be found nearby.
I wish you luck. Goodbye.
The sun shines and all is fair and peaceful here in Imladris. A far cry from the blood and dust of Fornost, is it not? You and your companions did very well there. Indeed, things might have gone badly for us had you not been there. You have earned some time to recover from the toils of battle and hard travel. And I believe you will find no place better for the restoration of body and spirit than this, our home.
It is pleasant, but I shall not stay long. I have promised to scout the Edenmoors for signs of the enemy. But what of you? I cannot believe the two of you will remain idle for any length of time.
No, indeed. We are to set off at once on a similar mission to your own. Only we will travel south, seeking for signs of the Nazgul or other threats. Aragorn will accompany us at least part of the way.
I wish you luck. Goodbye.
The sun shines and all is fair and peaceful here in Imladris. A far cry from the blood and dust of Fornost, is it not? You and your companions did very well there. Indeed, things might have gone badly for us had you not been there. You have earned some time to recover from the toils of battle and hard travel. And I believe you will find no place better for the restoration of body and spirit than this, our home.
I must prepare for my journey. Farewell.
My Govannen, well met and welcome to the safe haven of Imladris.
My Govannen, Lady Arwen. It is a great honor.
The Dúnedain are always welcome here. You have endured great danger and given us urgent warning of a new threat to the north. For this, we honor you, Eredan.
It is my duty as a ranger, nothing more. I am glad to be of service to my Lord Aragorn.
You show the modesty worthy of a hero. Estelle and my brothers have spoken highly of your courage at Fornost, and I thank you for your part in seeing to my brother's safe return. Please, take your ease and rest a while in our halls. You will find all your heart could desire, whether it be food, drink, song, or storytelling.
Estelle? The name means hope. But who is this Estelle you spoke of?
Forgive me. I forget that not all the Dúnedain know of this. Estelle was the name given to your chieftain, Aragorn, as he grew up in Imladris.
It is a good name. How did he come to be known as Estelle?
As a ranger, you must know of the practice of bringing the child of a chieftain to Imladris to be fostered. But you may not know how great the danger was at the time. Aragorn was but 2 years of age when his mother, Gilrain, brought him here after his father was slain by an orc arrow, Isildur. Elrond became like a father to him. Knowing the enemy sought ever for a living heir of Isildur, he renamed the boy Estelle to keep his true name and lineage hidden. Aragorn was 20 before Elrond revealed these things to him and gave him tokens of his heritage. But he remains Estelle to me, for he is my heart's hope, even as he is the hope of the Dúnedain.
The Dунэдайн are not given to idle gossip, but I have heard that you pledged yourself to Aragorn. It would be a joyous thing if true.
Long ago, I pledged myself to him beneath the golden boughs of Lothlorien, saying to him, "Dark is the shadow, and yet my heart rejoices, for you, Estelle, shall be among the great, whose valor will destroy it." Yet there is much pain in this choice, for I am Elrond's daughter and half-elven. To cleave to Estelle, I must forsake my immortal life and become mortal, accepting the bitter with the sweet. Even should Imladris endure this war, Elrond will leave Middle-earth, and we will be parted beyond the end of the world. It is the price I must pay to bring love and hope to Estelle, to Aragorn.
Would that I had the leisure to enjoy the peace of Imladris. But Elrond has asked me to scout the Ettenmoors. My companions and I must leave as soon as may be.
Then I will not keep you, but we may be of service to one another. I am helping my father brew a potion known as Miraval. One sip of Miraval can renew heart and soul, and bring new vigor to weary limbs. I am in short supply of certain rare ingredients that may be found in the Ettenmoors. If I gave you a list of the ingredients, perhaps you could bring any you find while carrying out your mission. With enough ingredients, I will return the favor by brewing an extra flask that you may have for your own use.
Gladly, Lady Arwen. That is a generous offer. Should I find what you require, I will return to you once my mission is complete.
My Govanen, Eredan, it is good of you to visit me again. My thoughts stray often to Estelle and my brothers, but also to you and your companions. I continue to brew Miraval, but I am concerned about our dwindling stocks. We still have need of those ingredients I spoke of before.
Are the Ettenmoors the only place I can find them?
There is nowhere else they may be found without a journey of many months. For these rare ingredients, I am afraid you will need to search the Ettenmoors. But do so only if it does not risk your safety. You are more important to us than even a flask of Miraval.
Is Miraval truly as potent as I've heard?
You will be able to judge for yourself if you can bring me the ingredients. One sip restores strength, uplifts the spirit, and brings hope to the weary heart. I wish you luck in your search.
I have watched hobbits from their borders, but seldom spoken with them. Is Bilbo typical of his kind?
I had once thought Bilbo unique. But now that I have met Frodo, I say that elves know less of hobbits than we think. They have a strength within that is far greater than their stature. How many of us, thinking ourselves strong, could have borne the ring as long as Bilbo did, without being turned to evil? It sustained him, so that he is now very old amongst his kind. But it did not stain him, nor has it lessened his love of poetry and song. Dear old Bilbo. I believe there is nothing he loves more, except a good meal. In that, he remains a true hobbit.
I have an errand I must not forget. Here is an unfinished poem from Bilbo. He asked for your opinion and advice, saying the subject is very close to your heart.
Then it must be about Estelle. He is fond of writing verses in honor of his good friend, and therefore often comes to me for advice. You may leave it with me, Eredan. I will give it some thought and answer him myself.
Thank you, lady. Perhaps the time will come when I can enjoy these gentle arts, but that time is not today. I must take my leave, lady. Namarie.
My Govanen, Eridan, it is good of you to visit me again. My thoughts stray often to Estelle and my brothers, but also to you and your companions. I continue to brew Miraval, but I am concerned about our dwindling stocks. We still have need of those ingredients I spoke of before.
I shall do my best to find what you need. Farewell, Lady Arwen.
My Govanen, Eridan, it is good of you to visit me again. My thoughts stray often to Estelle and my brothers, but also to you and your companions. I continue to brew Miraval, but I am concerned about our dwindling stocks. We still have need of those ingredients I spoke of before.
Is Miraval truly as potent as I've heard?
You will be able to judge for yourself if you can bring me the ingredients. One sip restores strength, uplifts the spirit, and brings hope to the weary heart. I wish you luck in your search.
I must take my leave, lady. Namarie.
Greetings! I hope the Lady Arwen will have some good suggestions for my verse. I'm really most eager to finish the thing.
I must be on my way.
Oh, hello again. Don't mind me. Speaking with you got me dreaming of the old days. Dwarves, elves, and men fighting against orcs and goblins. Those were glorious times.
I have business I must attend to. Goodbye for now.
Those who venture into the wild must be well prepared. Examine the goods Imladris has to offer.
Greetings, my friend. What can I help you with?
Thank you, Master Elrond. I had best be on my way.
This is rough country, no mistake. But so far, we've seen no sign of trouble.
But the moors stretch on for many leagues. It would be easy to miss something in these rugged crags and valleys.
Let us continue the search, but be wary. More than one ranger has been lost in these wild lands.
Foul creatures!
Let's see if you can take me! Face a Dunädайн now! Life beware!
Greetings, my friends. I could scarce believe what I saw from above. But elf, dwarf, and man battling the enemy together, such things are not often seen. I knew it had to be you.
Belarom, it is a strange coincidence that we should meet again so soon. I did not think to find you here in the Ettenmoors.
Nor did I. It does seem a strange coincidence, but a happy one, nonetheless.
Gandalf the Grey traveled here some weeks ago, and he passed through unhindered. Yet now the hills and vales are alive with enemies. Is it always so?
These moors are always dangerous. A breeding ground for trolls and orcs. But even here, it is unusual to see so many enemies openly assembling. I believe they are made bold by the presence of the renegade stone giant, Baghrasar. The foul folk respect the giant's strength, and they will follow him for plunder and the chance to do evil.
A stone giant? I thought such creatures existed only in children's stories.
No, the stone giants certainly do exist, but they are seldom seen beyond the highest mountain vales. I was never told they were hostile to our kind, however.
They seldom are. Eagles and the stone giants have shared the mountain heights without conflict for many generations. But this giant, Baghrasar, is different. Without provocation, he ambushed some of our people, taking them unaware and striking them down with hurled boulders. Many of our areas he also destroyed, along with the defenseless fledglings who nested there. Gwaihir summoned his strength to punish the giant, but he fled before us. We believe he has come here to the Ettenmoors, where he is gathering an army of orcs and trolls. Baghrasar is a threat to all. The sooner he is destroyed, the safer we shall be.
Could it be we will have more giants to contend with other than Baghrasar?
I do not believe so, for we have learned Baghrasar is an outcast among his own kind. They disowned him for past crimes, and will offer him no protection from our vengeance.
Do you and your kin make your home in the Ettenmoors?
No, we keep our areas atop the high peaks of the nearby Misty Mountains. We have come to the Ettenmoors in pursuit of Baghrasar.
You are a scout. Does that mean there are more of your people nearby?
My lord, Gwaihir, is gathering his strength. There will soon be many of my kind in the Ettenmoors. We must destroy Baghrasar. The sooner the better.
A threat to the Eagles is a threat to us all. Let us join with you in the hunt for this giant.
Your aid would be most welcome. Together we may be able to best him. Every hour he lives, his following grows greater. Let us press on!
to Dunädайн now! Servants of the enemy, beware!
This will strike you down!
Ah, a hidden Dунэдайн cache.
Face a Dunädайн now! Let's see if you can take me!